Welcome, dear ones. I am Sonia, the host of the Treasures You podcast. We are the frontiers, riding the wave of evolutionary progress. It is the steps of the journey rather than the destination that shapes our resilient character. Learning, growing, stretching the concepts, beliefs, and experiences we have the choice, the will, and the stamina to make every second and every step of our journeys magnificent, filled with our own desires that echo throughout the fabric of this reality, encompassing the whole, seeing with enlightened eyes, and knowing that the treasure is you. Hello, dear ones. As you can see, I have a lovely guest on the Treasures You podcast. Her name is Sabine Shchoepke, and I would like to give a brief description of her. She is a business and life coach, best selling author and speaker, podcaster, multipreneur, and bodybuilder. So I welcome you to the Treasure Is You podcast. Would you like to say anything to our listeners and viewers?
Well, thank you, Sonia. Thank you for the introduction. And I am so happy to be here. And yeah, I'm excited to share a little bit about myself and see if it resonates maybe with some people, some of your listeners out there.
Right. Yes, I'm excited to have you on the Treasures You podcast because you are such an inspiration. Like seriously, you're making my heart feel like it's singing because I'm resonating with somebody that is speaking the language that I understand. So when that happens, it just for me, it just makes you want to continue to talk to that person and learn because I'm learning from you just from these words that we are speaking together. And I think it's a beautiful thing when people can come together to share their passions that can help inspire all of people who are open to reinvent and to empower themselves. So, again, it is an honor to have you on the Treasures You podcast. But
Thank you.
I want to say, sorry, I didn't mean to
Mhm.
cut you off.
That's okay.
I'm so excited here. I want to say one thing on your website. I want to read from your website because I want the viewers to hear this wisdom that you are sharing out into the world because it's certain little words that can connect and resonate with people and it can change a person's life. I know that. I just want to share this and then we can continue to move forward, okay?
Sounds
All
good.
right. So, this is something that Sabine has on her website. It is what the Power Life is all about. She says, I create the Power Life to support professionals in the middle of their lives to help them with identifying where they want to go and how to get there through mindset shifts and rewiring the story they tell themselves. Yes, oh, that's powerful right there.
Mhm.
Flipping the script to create real lasting change. Yes, that right there. If you resonate what I just said, that is life changing. It really is. If you want to add to that,
There's a lot that can be added to that. And for me, also, it's at this point in my life, it's my greatest joy and bliss to share my stories and also share my thoughts and what's going on in my life in particular right now. I really think that's like the greatest gift we can give each other to have conversations like this and
yeah,
exchange our stories, our experiences, our wisdom with each other and help each other to get beyond the challenges and live a life that's truly our own and what we desire it to be.
Right. So I want to ask you, how do you approach some of your clients when they want to reinvent themselves and they don't know where to start? Because everybody is different.
Well, in most cases, people come to me and they think they know what needs to be fixed, and it's usually not that. Like,
Right.
they think they come to me because they need help with their business or they need help with relationships, but
Right.
it usually turns out that the cause of their struggles or their unhappiness um, is somewhere completely different. And
Mhm.
so I usually start off just by having conversations with them and to see what's going on in their lives and hear them talk about their lives and the good, the bad, and the ugly stuff.
Mm.
And then we go from there depending on what it is. But most of the time, I want to say 95% of the time, it's not what they think it is.
Right. Yes, I totally agree with that because I can relate to that because even in my life, because my life is what is helping me to learn and to see whatever it is in my life, if I'm growing, if I'm fearful of something. So if I have that courage to face whatever it is that I may be avoiding, right? Because a lot of
Hmm.
us, I feel, and this, includes myself, are unaware of a lot of things that we are doing because we're just living our life on autopilot,
Right.
right? We're living our life on autopilot, not conscious of what we're saying and what we're doing because we have been, all of us we have been indoctrinated with beliefs
Hmm.
that says, okay, Sonia, you are of this dynamic, so you need to do A, B, and C. Okay. You can't do X, Y, and Z because, you are this certain dynamic. And a lot of people, including myself in the past, we fall victim to these type of mentalities. And then we live our whole lives in
Right.
that I call like illusion. It's like it's not the real you because you are following what society or what your parents or what the educational system or whatever that, there's like unlimited systems out there, right, that we
Right.
fall into because we think, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, right? But in actuality, we are not. When you want to be your true self and when you want to be authentic and you want to reinvent yourself, then it's a whole different ball game. It's an inner job where you have to be able to have the courage to say no to people,
Hmm.
have courage to walk in the other direction instead of with the crowd. The crowd's walking to the right, but guess what? I'm walking to the left because my soul tells me to do that. And I feel happy, right? And I'm being
Right.
authentic. So, yeah. So I know I just went on a little tantrum, but this is a part of us connecting. And I want to share with people that, yes, I too, just like everybody else, am learning and seeing the reflection of myself in
Hmm.
other people. And a lot of times you don't want, if you see a person and you don't like what you see, then that for me is very telling and it helps you to move forward if you have the courage.
Right.
Yeah, because if you don't move forward, then another person's going to come in your life and show you it again in another scenario that you're like, oh, I don't even want to see that. Because I know I went through that in my life where I didn't want to see certain painful things. Like I really did not want to see a lot of painful things, but I had to like witness that. I had to just stand in my power and in my integrity and just look and then see what happens. Don't run from it. Cause yeah, I used to run because I didn't know. I thought I was being safe to myself, trying to run from it. But no, I don't run anymore. And I'm still on that journey of this process of learning that because I've been doing it most of my life. But it's so liberating when you face your fears.
Yes.
So you can continue.
There's so much. I'm like, oh my God, I should have taken notes with
I
everything that you
know
said.
it's so much. We can just go
Um,
on and let me just say one more other thing
uh-huh.
before you jump in is that I have found out that a lot of people, it's like they're walking in a fog. And now, when I say that, I was walking in a fog. Okay. So I'm not like judging anybody. This is
Right,
just the reality of when you are unconscious of your actions and your words and just everything in your life. And like I said, we're just on autopilot. You're just doing these things because of certain people and certain beliefs. So when you finally reach that point in your life and you do what your true self, and a lot of people don't know what their true self is. See, that's
right.
another whole different thing, because they do have to realize that. But you have to invest in yourself. You have to make time and space for yourself. And a lot of people that I have witnessed throughout the years, they don't want to do that. They want to just continue doing what they've been doing, right? Complaining and, all this stuff. And when you do that, you're not making life any better because you're continuing the same process. There's no solution in any of what you're doing. So, and I've been there too. I've been there. So I can say that. But now I know I don't speak in a way that's going to put me down or deter me. I'm going to speak in a way that's going to uplift me and make me feel good. And whatever it is that I may need to learn from, then I'm just going to take it slow and let myself just get through it, but no running. So take it from there.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in. Yeah, like you said, we're on autopilot, I think, and I call it the programming we receive as kids, because, and
Hmm.
again, like you said, there's no judgment, everybody's doing, whether it's your parents or the educators or society, everybody's doing the best that they can, but automatically we get programmed to think a certain way, to have certain expectations for ourselves and the world around us and all of that. And that creates a programming that at some point, some of us wake up and we're like, wait a second, I don't like what's going on here. But well, you're on autopilot and you think you're supposed to do things a certain way. And then you got used to doing things in a certain way. And there's a comfort that comes with the habitual living,
Right.
that it's very hard. But then, and these are the people that contact me, like I woke up and I'm like, especially in midlife, and I'm like, is this it?
Right.
Is this what my life was meant to be? And what's next? Is there anything left? And was that really worth it? All the struggles that I've had until now. And so is that it? Kind of a question is kind of a pivotal point where people either gonna put their head in the sand and they give up on themselves,
Right.
they age faster, and
Mhm.
you can tell they're letting themselves go, like physically, emotionally, and all of that, because they
Right.
see this life is whatever.
Right. Yes.
The other people who contact me are like, okay, now what? Like, I know there's more out there. They are the ones who know there's more and who
Mhm.
want help getting to that. And that's when you start peeling back the onion,
Yes.
and get to the core of, what am I? Like,
Right.
besides being a mother or a father, and I have maybe a title at work, like,
Yes.
what's my core? What
Right.
is that? And that's really the very exciting work, is to figure out what you are
Right.
in your core and authentically. And then the other thing I wanted to add to what you were saying is that we then come at some point to the realization that it doesn't matter how much work you do. Like, on themselves, like, I have to figure this out. I have to sit down and figure this out. No, no, no. This is a journey that you're going to be on for the rest of your life.
Mhm.
Like, the fact to be okay with the fact that none of us will ever arrive.
Right.
That's at first, for people, that's scary, because like,
Mhm.
well, then what's the point? But
Right.
once you really, like, that's what the journey is all about. The journey is
Right.
not the destination, but the
Right.
journey is the actual journey of
Yes.
peeling back these onions and
Yes.
like getting deeper and deeper. And the deeper you go within here, the
Mhm.
more you're going to realize, oh my God, there's more. This is
Mhm.
an endless well. And the more uplifted you feel and the more enlightened you feel, the more you realize, oh my God, there's more to this.
Mhm.
There's more to this beautiful life.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I feel like, and you tell me, but for myself, I feel like that's where this gets more and more and more exciting.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
That's when, I mean, we chatted briefly before. Like for me, I got rid of everything, of my business, my home, my car, everything. And I took off on December 31st. I got on a plane with 2 bags, and I'm right now sitting in the mountains in the German Alps and in
Wow.
a rental place. Like I don't own anything anymore except a few clothes,
Yeah.
but otherwise, and it's made this journey so much lighter,
Mhm.
and where you entirely focus on the inside here. And I'm telling you, like the amount of stuff I have learned about myself since December 31st, where I've drowned out all the noise of
Mhm.
my LA life and
Yeah.
the hustle and the running a business and the running around. It's amazing. It's
Yes.
incredible. And I wake up every morning, I'm like, all right, let's do this. Like,
Yes.
what do you have in store for me today? And
Yes.
people might be like, oh, she's so lucky. She does something that I could never do, live a privileged life where no, no, no. I still work, but I have figured out what it is that I want to work. Like what
Right.
truly makes my heart sing,
Sing. Yes.
right?
Yes.
Like where
Mhm.
you are excited again to
Yes.
get up. And like I get up early because I'm ready. I want to do
You're
this.
ready.
I
Me too.
Yeah, I want to help people. I want to share my insights, the good and the bad. I'm very like even on my podcast, I make myself very vulnerable. I share everything that's going on in my head, my own struggles, how I overcome these struggles, how I deal with them, how I dig deeper.
Right.
And honestly, I have never felt better in my life. I have never felt more balanced. I've never
Mhm.
felt stronger. I've never
Mhm.
felt healthier. And yeah, it's so worth it to
Yes.
peel back that onion and get down deep and
Yes.
and work on the things that maybe have been weighing us down,
Mhm.
find out, okay, where's the pain point here? It's not it's not what I think it is. There's something else. Let's start digging. Let's figure this out.
Right. I totally resonate what you're saying because I wake up too excited, excited for the day. Like when I see the sun, I'm in America, I'm in New Jersey, and I'm adapting, shall I say, to the weather here because I moved from Florida, like
Oh,
beautiful sunny Florida's tropical, always, blue sky. So now I'm in a place where it rains and I'm going to be I'm going to be truthful here. When it rains here, I literally I start crying because it's cold and I'm not used to it. So I'm like adapting to the weather and I just have to just adapt to that. I'm not used to it. I'm used to the sun, the blue skies. But yeah, because it's cold and it is kind of like rainy and at times I'm like crying because I'm like, "Oh my gosh." But then I get through it and I'm like, "Yes, I'm better." But,
but you know what? That's a really great example because a lot of people who I run into here and and I tell them, I just moved here from LA. Like first they're like, "What? Why would you do that? Why would you move here from LA?" And they're like, "The weather in LA is so nice. It's always nice there." And I'm like, "Okay." I said, and then it's been raining quite a bit
yeah,
because now it's kind of in between,
yeah.
winter and spring kind of thing.
Mhm.
And somebody else actually said, "Don't you hate the weather?" And I'm like, "No." Because see, I feel like it's a great opportunity for a mindset shift.
Yes.
So when I walk outside and I am starting to see spring, like it's just on the verge. You see
Mhm.
some of the flowers are starting to come up and they
Right.
have little bulbs on the trees that are bare. And I look at this and what I see today is a rebirth.
Right, it is.
And
Yeah,
it's when you look at it that way, it's so beautiful. And that
it is.
rain is needed
It is
for
needed.
everything to turn green again,
It is
and
needed.
it makes me so happy to see
Mhm.
that,
Mhm.
and so for me, like, I don't look at the rain or at the cold, as,
Right.
"Oh my god, I had the beautiful weather in LA." Like,
Yes.
no, it's a
Yes.
rebirth of a whole new season, and
Yes.
I was thinking this morning because it was raining, but you could see spring is like, "Oh, it's
Mhm.
just about here,"
Yes.
and I'm like, "There's seasons. There is seasons in the weather, but
Yes.
there's just like that, there's seasons in our lives,
Yes, I agree. Totally. Yes.
right? And
Yes.
there's something beautiful to be had from every one of these seasons. Like
Yeah.
when I was a mother, my kids are now 20 and they left the nest and they went off to school. I loved being a mother, and that was a
Mhm.
beautiful season.
Mhm.
But now, and that's where a lot of people struggle because they're like midlife, oh my gosh, you're losing so much. Your kids are leaving, parents are dying, people are getting divorced. Like there's so much, but it's like a chrysalis, like you're going through this transition of
Yes.
now discovering a whole new self. The thing is to get through that transitional part where you're neither here nor there. Like you're not a mother to little children anymore, and you're not quite like you haven't arrived to the new you,
Right.
but that transition,
Right.
that's a season. That's like I feel like I'm in spring right now because
Mhm.
there's summer is coming of that new
Yes.
season, of my
Yes.
new self.
Yes.
There's so many different ways to look at things. Like it's
Yes.
the cliche, like glass half full, half empty. But I have chosen to look at things in a certain way.
Right.
I'm going to tell you a story that you're going to totally appreciate. I went with my daughter to a quick weekend trip to Athens. And in Europe here, everything is like really cheap to travel. It cost us 19 euro, which is like $20 to fly
What?
to Athens.
Oh, wow.
So we're like, let's go. And so we were split up on the flight. She was sitting somewhere else, and I was seated, and next to me was a guy. I felt like his energy was very inviting to talk to him,
Mhm.
and so we started talking, and it turned out he was a seeker. He lived in a
Mm.
monastery in one of the islands in Greece,
Mm.
and I am telling you, I had the best 2.5 hour flight of my life. I
Wow.
was like a sponge, just absorbing his energy and all the
Yeah.
things he was talking about. And his main message to me was, he asked me, he said, "What do you think is the most important thing in life?" And I said, "Love, your love for people." And I had a couple of other things. And he's like, "No, no." And then I said, "Okay, tell me, what is it?" And he said, "It's to realize that you have choices. Everything in life is based on the choices that you make, and you are in charge of those choices."
Yes. Wow. Yes.
Ever since that conversation, I am even more mindful of the choices I make
Right.
all day long,
All
about the
day long.
thoughts I have, the way I
Yes.
look at things,
Yes.
the conversations I have with people, how I talk to myself, if I limit
Right.
myself or
Yes.
if I lift myself up. It's all within our power.
Yes.
And I feel like there's so many people, and me included, and there's no judgment on any of this, but
Mhm.
it's just an observation. I feel like for most part of our lives, we are so concerned with our circumstances and the circumstances we're trying to change, whether it's other people or it's circumstances in our lives, things that happen, and we waste so much energy on that.
Yes.
But that's like, I tell my clients, it's like you're drowning in the ocean and you're telling me you're fighting the waves.
Right. Yeah, that's
You will never succeed. You will never create the kind of life that you want. What you need to focus on is, like in the ocean, you just float. Like,
yes.
don't fight the waves. You're gonna
Right,
exhaust
go with the
yourself. You're
flow. Yes.
gonna die. But our lives, stop fighting the
Right.
circumstances. Stop fighting what's outside of you, and go back inside and choose
Right.
every thought, every action, every non-action, and then you're going to get to where you want to go,
Yes.
and you're going to live your life in a way that's just, it's beautiful,
Mhm.
because stuff is going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
I had cancer last year. Like I have experienced a lot of trauma in my life,
Right.
and but I've always chosen to let it help me grow and
Right.
be stronger and take something from that
Mm-hmm.
and turn it into a gift no matter how difficult it was.
Right. Yeah. That's it. That's what we all should take note of, that, because I have learned as well that in every circumstance there is light. There
Yes.
is light in every circumstance. So you may be going through something, but it's meant for you to go through so you can learn and become stronger. And then you get to that light and you're smiling, you're happy because you went through it, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, so a lot of people, including myself, I just, at times, I may forget certain simple things, but when you realize that, like what the man said to you on the airplane, yeah, our choices, the choices that we make
It's
is
our
very
greatest
true.
power.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is. It's very powerful. But and two, if we can, which I've been doing this for a while. Like I pause before I make any decisions and do things. I always pause. I have a good meditation practice, and I walk every day
Yeah.
in nature. That's a part of my self-care because I love nature. And there's deers everywhere. I mean, like I connect with the animals. Like I love that. I mean, so I pause and I make space for me to do the
Mhm.
things I love. So when I do the things I love, guess what happens? More comes to me.
Yes.
Unexpected things come to me because I'm in this field that it's it's unrestricted. I'm like going with the flow. I'm going with the flow, and I feel like a child. Seriously.
Uh-huh.
I feel like a child because I'm like, wow, I'm curious. I'm curious about the trees. I'm curious about the deer that I see every morning. And it just makes life so fun for me. And I love that. And see the old me, or the past versions of me that was programmed, of course, to feel like, oh, I'm tired, I'm this, all the things, all the negative things to weigh you down.
Right.
It's like I don't even feel that anymore. It's like, who is that? Like, I can't believe I was that way. But see, I have elevated my speech because I had a webinar on our thoughts. Are
Uh-huh.
you become your thoughts?
Yes.
If you continue to think this way, then that's what you are, So I've learned to just elevate my speech, just elevate everything about myself. And because of that, my life is more aligned with the true me that I never knew because I was always chasing other things. That
Right.
was never me. I was always chasing. I was always running. And this, I want to share this with you. Everything in our life, I feel, is a message. So,
Mhm.
like when I was a child, I was on the track team. Guess what? I was the second fastest person in my city. So, as I say, I was on a track team. What did I just say to you? I was running. I was always running from things to people. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so everything is connected. Like, I was a track star. I'm running here, I'm running there. And then one day I woke up and say, wait a minute, what are you running to? What are you doing? Why are you wasting your time? Yeah, I had to question myself. That's how I check myself. I question, and then I stop running. I literally stopped running because I'm like, where are you running? Where are you going? What are you doing? So that was a moment for me, a moment
Yeah.
of clarity. And ever since that, and that was 20 years ago, I don't run anymore. Like I used to literally run, like me and my daughter, we used to go to the beach. We used to run on the beach. 6 o'clock in the morning, we're running on the beach because, I like to see the sunrise and all of that. And yeah, we used to run. And now I don't even run. I walk. I'm like, what am I running for? I don't have to run. I'm missing this beautiful sight. You know what I'm saying? So I walk now, and when I walk, it's like I'm seeing more stuff that I missed because
Yes.
I'm walking and I get to see it. But when I was running, I missed a lot in life. That really is a metaphor for just what I was about, like from the very beginning, being on a track team. And actually, that was my model, just running, running, running. So I don't run anymore. I'm happy about that.
Good.
Yes.
Good. I also think people need to know that um, that doesn't mean, like, just because, you know, we're positive or we see things in a positive light or we
Hmm.
can shift our mindset, that doesn't mean that we never suffer. Like,
Right.
there's still suffering, and that's okay. I feel like I have become more, like, kinder to myself,
Right.
more nurturing to myself.
Hmm.
I There was a Whole Foods ad, um, and it stuck with me over the last 10 years.
Hmm.
Like, treat yourself the way you would treat somebody you love, because most of us don't do that.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like for the most part, I was way nicer to my kids and people I love than ever
Right.
to myself until
Right.
recently. And
Yeah.
so it's okay, because things happen and they will make us sad or upset or scared, or, those feelings are just as important as the good
Yep.
feelings, because they tell us something about ourselves.
Right.
And don't try to ignore that feeling, say, "I need to be strong." No, no, no,
Hmm.
it's okay. Feel those
Yes.
feelings, but eventually you're gonna move on from those
Hmm.
feelings, and that's the crucial part. The question is, how long do you remain in those feelings?
Yes.
Um, can you move on from that?
Right.
And I think that's really important to now give yourself the grace and the kindness and the
Right.
love that you would give to somebody else.
Yes, I agree. I think that it's healthy to experience all the emotions
Yes.
because then that is what helps you to be who you are, to be stronger, to grow, to learn. As a matter of fact, you may miss something in your life. So you may go through some painful experience so you can learn to teach other people or your daughters or your son. So, like, there's always a reason for us to go through whatever we're going through. So we
Mhm.
have to, I would say, honor it or just be okay with it. Be okay with whatever experience, if it's pain, because I know I used to run from the pain. I didn't want to see the pain, but I had to learn to just face it. And when I faced it, it made me stronger and it helped me to see things that I didn't see before because I
Right.
faced it. I didn't run from it. Yeah. So there we
There's
go
that
again.
running again,
That
because you're
there
not
you go. There's
run
the running again.
Yeah,
So
because you're
yeah.
not running from it anymore. You
Right.
actually, and I think that's where awareness comes into. Awareness is so crucial in
Yes.
order to learn to appreciate even the struggles and embrace the struggles for what
Mhm.
they are. And your
Mhm.
awareness now gives you the clarity to say, okay, what was this good for?
Right.
Because it will always, no matter what it is, it
Yes.
will always at the end be good for something. And I know when you're in the midst of a struggle or feeling the pain, that's
Mhm.
not what you want to hear.
Right.
Like, you're crazy. You think
Yeah.
that's good for something.
Right.
And that's why I tell my clients to start this kind of practice with small things.
Mhm.
It's like in my bodybuilding world,
Mhm.
we don't start lifting 70 or 100 pounds at the beginning.
Right.
We don't have the muscle for that. And it's emotionally, spiritually, it's the same thing.
Yes.
You start with light weights. You start with day-to-day things. Like, you walk outside and it's raining and you're like, well, the rain is good.
Mhm.
In the
Yes.
rain, or it will help the flowers to bloom, or whatever it
Mhm.
is, like, wrap your head around it and shift your mind on the
Yes.
small things.
Right.
Or the light turns red. Like, today, I wanted to get home quickly, and the tracks, the light was on, and I couldn't go, and initially, I'm like, "Darn. Oh, no, it's gonna take me longer to get home." And then I'm like, "A, nobody's waiting. B, oh, let's take this moment to go inward. Like,
Right.
how did I came from working out. How amazing was that to really connect? And I relived those moments, and it made me really happy of,
Mhm.
going back to that. And it was a 3 minutes spent really happily,
Mhm.
to reflect on. So practice it on the little things.
Yes.
Keep adjusting your mindset.
Mm.
And then once bigger things come, you have flexed that muscle enough and you have gotten enough strength in that muscle to manage bigger things.
Right.
And it's part of the rewiring we need to do because our brains are wired to think in a certain way. And that's why don't judge yourself. Like, I
Mhm.
don't judge myself. My initial response, like, darn the train. I have to wait. I don't judge myself. I know that's because I'm so programmed to go, go, go in LA.
Right.
Like, let's get it done. Oh my gosh, she's stuck. No,
Yeah.
it's okay. Have some
Right.
grace with yourself.
Yes. Yeah, that's beautiful. It is. It's perception, Change your perception about that situation instead
Yeah.
of, looking at the downside. Change it. Like I
Yeah.
said, there's light in every circumstance.
Hmm.
So
And it
yeah,
makes
once you
life
and
so
you
much
did it.
better.
Once you pause, everything came to the light for you. Everything was better, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was enjoyable. All of a sudden, I'm
Yeah,
like,
it was
okay,
enjoyable.
yeah, let's sit back and think about this.
Yeah.
And that's why, people often, like, I tell people, good things, like you said earlier, um, when you step back from a situation and just let it happen, let it unfold,
Yeah.
and good things come to you. And that's no voodoo. It's not. The
Mhm.
thing is, when we stop pushing and pulling, you know, in our lives, which we do all day long, I
Mhm.
want this to happen now. I want this to go faster. I want.
Right,
You
right.
go and you open up your mind, amazing things will come. They don't come when we're freaking out, we're desperate, we're trying to achieve something.
Right.
These things usually happen. Like, I have my best ideas, my most creative ideas when I ride my bicycle or when I go for a walk or I
Mhm.
stand in the shower and there's no more pressure. And
Right.
it's just, I'm open to just being.
Right. Yes, yes.
Because I think in many cases we're so used to overthinking everything. We're putting
Mhm.
so much pressure on ourselves. I need to sit down and think about this. No, actually, you don't. You need to go for a walk. That's what I tell my clients. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to spend some time thinking about this. I'm going to sit down and think about this. I'm like, don't, oh, do me a favor. Don't do that. And they're like, what? And I'm like, no, what do you really enjoy doing? And
Right.
then whatever it is, go do that
Yes.
because that's going to get you to where you want to go. And it's going to
Mm.
give you the revelations that you need to have. They're not
Mhm.
gonna come. And I know I was raised that way too, in like a very German way. I want you to sit down and think about this. Huh? That's
Yeah,
so wrong. Like, I know
right.
today it's so wrong.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
like backwards, right?
yeah, it is. It really, no, go out, have fun, enjoy, go surf, go walk, go hike, go whatever.
Right.
Just,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I tell my daughters. I have 2 daughters, and I say, "Do what you love." My oldest, she's very artistic, and I'm like, "Just continue doing what you love. You are on the right track. I'm not gonna tell you not to do, this because I know you love it." She loves drawing. She creates, like, everything. Everything she creates. I said, "Continue doing that."
yeah,
Yes. I tell her, I don't, like the old me or, would say, "Yeah, you need to do this. You need, and I'm not going to tell her that. I'm going to continue to inspire her because this is what she loves. Like you just said, do what you love because then that's
yes,
when the inspiration comes.
yes.
So, yeah,
And
I'm an advocate for that. Yes,
when
definitely.
I've done it all my life. I've always followed my heart, and I was very successful with that. And I've had like 7 different kinds of businesses, and they were
Mm.
always part of my soul path. That's what I call it today. I
Mm.
didn't know that back then.
Wow.
Back then, I was very German. I was very
Yes.
systematic, very hardworking, very disciplined, and all of that.
Right.
But there was a part of me when I left Germany at 17 on my own,
Mhm.
and my parents said, "We'll pay for you for 1 year to go abroad, learn the language." And then they said, "No, you have to come back." And I said, "I'm not coming back." I was in Canada, and I got a scholarship for my second year, and then I had no more money. And I was homeless in Toronto. I remember sitting on that park bench. I still remember exactly what park, what bench it was.
Mhm.
And I was like, now what? And I had an idea for a business, and I pulled it off. 6 months later, I had my own apartment. I followed my heart. And
Right.
people say to me, like, even today with what I just did of like selling everything and going, they're like, how do you know? How do you know
Right.
this is going to work out?
Right.
I don't, but that's okay. There
Mm.
is certain things that we do, they feel so right, and that's
Right.
enough.
Right.
That's our soul path. That's
Yes.
following your heart.
Yes.
15 years ago, I started a business. I was completely broke. We had a house fire. We lost everything. Insurance didn't pay, and I had two little ones. And I was like, and now what? And I started creating jewelry that helped me, that I like stamped words that were uplifting to me, that were very personal, uplifting for me. And
Mhm.
I would wear it, and then I would remind myself, oh, this is, yes, okay. And that business became a huge success, but not because I overthought it and I sat down and I thought about it. No, but I followed my heart.
Right.
I did something that came from the bottom of my heart, my soul, and it made me happy doing what I was doing, and I followed that path.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm doing today, and that's what I tell everybody, just what is it that you love to do?
Mhm.
Do just that, and you will see it will lead you to success, to your success,
Yeah.
to what how you personally for yourself define success. It might be different than what society says or what your
Yes.
parents think, how you should be successful. I had to disappoint my parents multiple times because I never worked corporate. I never had a corporate title. That was important to them, but it wasn't important to me.
Right. Yes.
So you define success on your own terms by following your heart
Yes.
and create your
Absolutely.
own path. And it's
Mhm.
not always going to be easy, but in the long run, it's going to be so rewarding.
Mhm. Yes. And you are a testament to that. And that is something I tell a lot of people as well. You have to follow your heart. Yes. Your happiness. Because when you follow your happiness, I like to say it's not work anymore.
Mm-mm.
It's not work what you're doing because you're doing what you love. Because I kind of have a thing with the word work.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. So I don't work. I do what I love. So
Yeah.
when I get up in the morning, I'm going to do what I love because I love it. And when you love it, guess what? You can do it day and night
Yes.
because you love it. So when you love that, then what happens? The universe opens doors for you
Mhm.
that you don't even know about because you love what you're doing. So that is one of the things that I share with people, and you just share it with me. Follow
Yeah.
your heart.
I have a lot of people who have followed my path and who said, it's so weird. Everything you touch turns to gold. You're
Hmm.
so lucky. And I'm like, no, this is not luck. It
Right.
has nothing to do with luck. It's a combination of two things. A, yes, I do work hard. Again, yes, I don't like the word work because
Yeah.
for me it's my soul work,
Yes.
my what I love to do. But yes, I spend a lot of time
Yeah.
doing what I love to do. But
Yes.
also it's emotional and spiritual dedication to what you love.
Hmm.
If you don't believe in yourself and in what you do, yeah, it's not going to work out.
Yes.
Like when I was sitting on that park bench in Toronto and I was homeless, I had no, there was no safety net.
Right.
I went for what I believed in and what my heart called for.
Hmm.
you can't have one foot in the door and the other out and say, well, let me try this. I don't know. And because if you
Right.
don't believe in, it's like what we talked about earlier, it's that vibration. You gotta match it
Yes.
with your thoughts, with your heart and your soul, and
Mm-hmm.
you feel it like it's already so. And when you are in that place, I promise you, you can do anything.
Yes.
Anything.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, but a lot of people aren't in that space, but that's where you come in, and a lot of other people come in to help them take the baby steps to implement these new ways of being and thinking and practices in your life that will help you to reinvent yourself and find your true happiness, which is yourself.
Mhm.
This is what it is. This is where the happiness is, right in here.
Right.
So
It's
once
not in the big car you're driving, and
yes,
it's
it's def
not in the massive house you live in. Let me tell you, I've been there, I've done all of that, and I
yes,
was the most unhappiest person in the world. I've worked together with a lot of people who were
yes,
extremely successful financially and who were so broken and, and it's not that.
mm-mm.
And it's when this is good, then the
Yes,
rest doesn't matter. And it will
right,
fall into place. That's the beautiful thing. And the thing is, like you said, like I I have lived it all. And I'm not just talking like theoretical stuff that I read somewhere. No,
right,
everything I say and everything that I share has
mhm,
come from actual experiences.
yes,
You have cancer, you want to pick yourself up. I can have a conversation with you about that.
mhm,
I had a home invasion. I was asleep and I got beaten up by people who broke into my house. I had
mm,
terrible PTSD afterwards. But you want to have a conversation about trauma and how to overcome that?
right,
We can talk.
exactly,
Like everything has come from my own experiences.
mhm,
And I'm telling you, there's no voodoo, there's no just regurgitating like quotes that are written somewhere. No,
right,
it's just, it's, it is real and it
mhm.
works.
Yes, that is great. Well, we are going to end the show. And I would like for you, before we end the show, is to share with everybody your website, your social media platforms, and if you have a last word that you would like to share with the viewers and the listeners. And then we're going to end the show. But it has been a delight having you on the Treasure Is You podcast because you are an inspiration.
Thank
And
you.
yes,
I could go on and on with you.
yes,
Like, we
I
could
could
fill
too.
hours. Such a pleasure.
Yes.
Yeah, so the easiest way to find out anything about me is my website. It's called thepowerlifecoach.com. And on there is links to my podcast and the book I published last year.
Mhm.
And I have a podcast called The Power Life Coach.
Okay.
But everything is on that website. Also, all my links to my social media is on there. And yeah, and I welcome all conversations. Anybody reaching out and just wanting to have a conversation. That's really, my greatest bliss at this point in life, to
Mhm.
just uplift people and
Yes.
share. And yeah, so
Yes.
that's that. And my last, I don't know, there's so much.
I know. I know.
The thing is, everything and anything is possible. It's up to us. I have done a lot of things and overcome a lot of things. And I'm telling you, so can you. You
Yeah.
have the power. We all have the power. We have that innate power to
Mm.
overcome anything that we're presented with and actually come out on the other side a better version of ourselves.
Yes.
But the thing is, ask for help.
Mhm.
I was always very blessed to meet the right people at the right time who
Mhm.
would support me or give me nuggets of wisdom that resonated with me and lifted me up.
Right.
So if you're in a tough spot, reach out a hand to people or
Mhm.
open yourself up or reach out a hand to people like us who can support you a little bit on your journey.
Right.
And you don't have to walk this alone.
That's right. Okay. Well, as I always say towards the end of my show to all my viewers and listeners, and I'm just so grateful to have Sabine on my podcast. Remember, everybody, that the power is within. Remember to be present in the moment. Enjoy your day. And remember that the treasure is you. So take care and namaste.